Sometimes you want a Benchmade Bugout, but don't want to pay Bugout money. And the good news is right now you've got more alternatives than ever, from super budget beaters to genuinely premium knives that will still come in cheaper than the Bugout. Nowadays, there are a ton of crossbar lock knives that deliver a very similar experience without the Bugout's $200 price of admission. If what you want is something that's easy to carry with an ambidextrous crossbar lock and a smooth, fidget-friendly action, the knives we're going to look at today are absolutely worth a look. We're going to go from some great budget options to some that actually start competing with or even exceeding the Bugout materials-wise. As always, I'll have links in the description for where you can find these knives. And with that out of the way, let's get into it. And the absolute cheapest option we're going to look at today is the Ozark Trail 7.5-inch slide lock folder, which I know is a super catchy name, but that's what they call it on the Walmart website. This is about as rock bottom as it's going to get at $10 for the price. This is a knife that I didn't ask why when I bought it. It was more of a question of why not, because that was so cheap. And the really the reason that I did it is because it has no right to be this usable for $10. Now, is this a Bugout replacement? Not even close. It is not as ultralight as the Bugout. It doesn't have anywhere near the refinement as the Bugout, and it doesn't approach the Bugout materials-wise. But what it is, it has a crossbar lock, it's approximately Bugout size, and it will handle most knife tasks that you ask of it. So what are the main things that it does have going for it? It is dirt cheap at $10, so there's zero risk in buying this, really. It's totally fine as a beater or a backup knife or even a loaner knife, and it's a good way to try out this style of lock and find out, is the crossbar lock for you with virtually minimal investment. Now, what are the drawbacks? The big one is going to be the materials. The materials are not great on this. As you can see, the scales on mine are actually two different shades of orange, so not exactly the best quality control there. And as far as the steel goes, this is D2 steel, allegedly. But several knife tubers have tested it, either whether it's hardness testing or just edge retention testing, and the results have been not great. But if you just want to see what all the hype is around the crossbar lock, or if you just need something that you really don't care about beating up, the Ozark Trail Knife is a great option for that. So, taking a little bit of a step up, the next one that we're going to look at is the CJRB Maximal, which will run you anywhere from $40 to $50. And unlike the Ozark Trail, which was more of a why not, this actually has some good reasons as far as the why. Now, most models will run you about $40 and come in AR RPM 9 steel, which is a solid budget steel. If you're not familiar, it's a spray form 9CR18 MOV, basically, which itself is roughly equivalent to 440C. So this should basically be a slightly improved 9CR18 MOV. But what this one actually is, this is ARSF2 steel, and it'll run you about $50. But the ARSF2, it's also a spray form steel, but it is basically roughly chemically equivalent to 154 CM. It's not exactly, but that's probably the closest equivalent. So it'll be a slight upgrade as far as the steel goes. So what does this one have going for it? It is still very affordable. It's a good size. As you can see, you get a full 4-finger grip. But the blade length will be legal in most areas, just like most of these, with the exception of the Ozark Trail, that is over 3 inches. But it has solid construction. It is a major upgrade materials-wise from the Ozark Trail. Now, what are the drawbacks on this one? The spray form steels are a little bit unproven, and they haven't been heavily tested, but as long as they're heat treated well, they should give you solid performance. And the action on this is okay. It's not my favorite, but I mean, it's definitely very, very usable. So if you're looking to try out something with a little bit different steel from the norm, or really, this is the cheapest option that I really feel comfortable recommending as an EDC knife, and that is the CJRB Maximal. Next up, we're taking a slight step up in price, and we're going to take a look at the CIVIVI Yonder. Now, the Yonder, for me, at $55 to $80 is where you really hit that sweet spot of value in the budget realm. This is just a really solid, well-balanced knife. It's not flashy. It's not trying to wow you. It just straight up works. It uses 14C28N steel, which is a well-proven budget steel. It has prodigious toughness. It's easy to sharpen and really good corrosion resistance. It's also very forgiving when it comes to heat treats. So like you really have to almost try to mess up the heat treat on 14C28N. Now there is also a Damascus Damascus steel variant of this, if that's more your speed, but outside of that, they all come in 14C28N. So what does this have going for it? It's great size and great weight balance. It has a really good action out of the box. I think it's a little bit better than the Maximal, but pretty similar. And really solid materials for the price. You're getting G10 scales. I think they do also offer a micarta version, and 14C28 and blade steel, just solid materials all around. The drawbacks are really the spay blade may not be for everybody. It's not as ubiquitous as like a drop point or something like that. And the action is good, but it's nothing special. Mine has a little bit of lock stick, it feels like, which that may work out with more use too. But if you want something at a good price with no frills that just straight up works, I think this is a great option, and that is the CIVIVI Yonder. Now, the next option we're going to look at is one that answered kind of a different question for me. What if I wanted a bug out that could fit in my fifth pocket? And my knife for that is the CIVIVI Baby Banter 2. Now, this has a crossbar lock, but it's shrunk down in virtually every way. It also has aluminum scales and nitro V steel for the blade, so really, really solid materials. And as you can see, I can get a full 4-finger grip on it despite it being a very small knife. So what does this have going for it? It is extremely easy to carry at this size. It basically disappears in your pocket. You can carry it in your regular pocket or your fifth pocket. It has a smooth, very fidgety action, which is not that easy to accomplish in a knife this small. Sometimes it can be difficult to get a good fidgetable action. As I mentioned, I can get a full 4-finger grip with the choil. So this is a very comfortable knife to use despite how small it is. So the main drawback for this is that for some people, it may be too small for some tasks. But really, if you want something for your fifth pocket, or you have very restrictive blade laws and you have to have a shorter blade, I think the CIVIVI Baby Banter is an option that you absolutely should be looking at. So our next option is actually going to be kind of our bridge between our budget options and our premium options that are competing with the bug out, and that is the Kizer Drop Bear. Now, this model here with wood scales and nitro V steel, I want to say this one cost me about $60 to $70, but the price on the Kizer Drop Bear can range from $50 all the way up to over $200. So those are actually getting into the price range of the bug out. But this also comes in premium steels, and I have 2 of those here in my Knife Center exclusives, and that is this one with 20 CV and aluminum scales, and this one with S90V and polished burlap micarta. So you have both a premium and a budget option. And these are just a couple of the options. There are so many versions of this. But the thing that I really love about these is Kizer's clutch lock, I think, is probably my favorite execution of the crossbar lock. So what does the Kizer Drop Bear have going for it? The big things for me are the excellent action. It is super smooth, and probably the coolest thing about these is the action is actually adjustable with the Omega springs. You can adjust the tension on them to adjust how the detent feels on the knife, which is just an awesome improvement on the crossbar lock. And there are also a ton of variants of this. You have all different kinds of steels, scales, and finishes. As far as steels, on the budget end, you have Nitro V, like I mentioned down here, AEBL, and 154 CM, although the 154 CM models usually run $100 or over, so I wouldn't really call those budget. But then when you get into the more premium steels, you have S35VN, S45VN, 20CV, S90V, LMAX, LC200N, and there may be one that I missed in there too. But what are the drawbacks of the Drop Bear? The price, as I mentioned, you can get into bug out range and even exceeding the bug out by a little bit. But the thing about those is when you're getting into those, you're also in materials that exceed the bug out, because you're not just getting premium steels. Usually with those, you're getting fat carbon or some kind of carbon fiber scale with those. So you are approaching the price of the bug out, but you're also getting better materials than the Grivery scales on the bug out. So, but if you want one of the best iterations of the crossbar lock or variants galore, the Kizer Drop Air is an option that I would definitely recommend. Now, our next option is the Vosteed Parallel. Now, this will run you anywhere from $129 to $169, depending on which version you get. But the Parallel feels like a knife that took one attribute and decided to see how extreme it could get with it. And that attribute is its thinness. So I don't know if you can tell how absolutely thin that is, but I will bring up the Bugout, which itself has a reputation for being fairly thin, and you can see just how much thinner this knife is compared to my mini Bugout. Now, mind you, this has aftermarket scales, so they're a bit thicker, but even then, even with the standard scales, the Vosteed Parallel is going to come in insanely thinner compared to the Bugout or mini Bugout. Now, just as numbers go, the handle on this is 0.279 of an inch thick, whereas the Bugout is 0.42 in its stock form. So it is extremely thin compared to the Bugout. Now, this comes with titanium scales for all the models, and then the steel will either be S35 VN, and those will usually run you $149 to the $169 range. Or the 154 CM models will run you at the $129 range. So what does this have going for it? As I showed, it is extremely, extremely thin and very, very pocketable. The titanium scales and S35 VN steel at this price point are an awesome, awesome deal. And there are a variety of scale finishes. I'll bring up some of them here, but you can see there are several different styles and finishes. So what are the drawbacks on this? Though the 154 CM steel, while I do like 154 CM steel, it's kind of an odd choice for me, especially when it's only $20 cheaper than the S35 VN. At that point, I don't see why you would want to get the 154 CM unless you really, really like the scales. Just kind of an odd choice there to me. And the other drawback is this is so thin that it might be uncomfortable for extended use. Like, I have no problem using it like this, but if I was using it all day, I could see, because of how thin it is, kind of digging into my hands, it may not be the best for extended use. But ultimately, if you are looking for Benchmade carryability, I think this is going to be the closest competitor. And really, I mean, although it is not as light as the Bugout, it's also one of the lightest options too. So if you're looking to try to get one for one as far as carryability and compactness, the Vosteed Parallel is going to be probably one of the best options out of all of these. Next up, we have the Kershaw Bel Air. Now, this is our first US made option out of all of these. Now, this comes with either aluminum, micarta, or carbon fiber scales, and most of those come in Magnacut, although there is, I think, one or two Damascus options. But it comes in higher end materials than the Bugout while being US made. And these will run you anywhere from $130 to $220. So, like I mentioned, towards the top end, it can meet or exceed the price of the Bugout, but you're also getting nicer materials for that. But most of the models will run you in the $130 to $160 range. It has an action that, in my opinion, is much smoother than the Bugout. So this is running on bearings instead of washers. So if that's something that you are very picky about, bearings or washers, that is something to keep in mind. But what does this one have going for it? Like the Bugout, it is made in the USA, and I think that it is very important. It's more important to some people than others, but I think it is an important point of consideration, especially when you're looking at the price. And it also comes in nicer materials than the Bugout. So what are the drawbacks with the Bel Air? It is not light or as slim as the Bugout. It also doesn't have anywhere near the aftermarket that the Bugout does. And like the Drop Air before, some of the nicest models will end up exceeding the Bugout in price, albeit with better materials. But if you like the idea of a Bugout, but you want something that feels a little bit more substantial, I think this is a really, really strong option, and also considering the fact that you're getting arguably better materials. But that is the Kershaw Bel Air. And last but not least, we have the Hogue Ritter Mini RSK. Now, there is also a larger version called the RSK, but because of my blade length restrictions, I am with the Mini RSK. Now, the RSK and the Mini RSK have kind of an interesting lineage. It was originally introduced in 2004, and it was a collaboration between Doug Ritter and Benchmade. Benchmade continued to manufacture them until the partnership ended in 2016, and then it was picked up by Hogue, and that is who is currently making the RSK and Mini RSK. Back to the knife, though. As you'd expect from its lineage and from it being on this list, it has a crossbar lock and it shares a lot of design lineage or a lot of design ideas with Benchmade knives. Now it comes stock with G10 scales and Magnacut steel, although they did make a 20 CV at one point, but I think all new versions are made in Magnacut steel. Now mine has scales from original Goat. These are aluminum scales. But the original scale texture was just a bit too rough for my taste. It was tearing up my pockets, so I decided to get the original Goat scales, which it does have a decent aftermarket as well because it's been around for so long. Now, the build quality on this is smooth. It has a very smooth action, and it's also the only option on this list that is actually riding on phosphor bronze washers. So if one of the things you like about the Bugout is that it is on washers, the Mini RSK is also on washers. So like I mentioned, if you have a strong preference, that's something to consider. Now, what are the drawbacks on this? It's not quite as lightweight or disappearing in the pocket as a Bugout, and it is a little bit more substantial, which can be a positive or a negative. But if you're looking for an ultralight, this won't be the option for you. But if you want something that's US made, that's a bit more substantial than the Bugout, and you want to support knife rights, because every sale of a Ritter RSK or Mini RSK, a portion of it will go to Knife Rights, which is an organization that fights for knife rights in the U.S. and passing legislation to loosen, not loosen, but to improve knife rights. But if that is something that you want to participate in, this is a great option. So again, none of these are going to be a one-for-one replacement for the Bugout, but they do hit a lot of the same things that make the Bugout so popular, and that's pocketability, the crossbar lock, and simple everyday usability, just at a very different price point. And each one is at a very different price point. And each one has different strengths depending on what you're looking for. And honestly, that's kind of the takeaway here. You don't have to spend Bugout money to get a great crossbar lock anymore. But I'm curious, if you had to pick just one of these, which one are you going with? Or is there one that I didn't have on this list that you like over all of these? Let me know that down in the comments. And if you want to see more lists like this, make sure to leave a like and subscribe so you don't miss the next one. And until next time, take care of yourself, take care of each other, and I'll see you in the next video.